Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. I'm Gav, and with me I have got Ashley and I've got Kev, and it's the final hour of the transfer window, the January one, the one that promises so much and delivers fuck all. Let's be honest about it. We're going to be here for the next hour or so. We probably go. It's 10:04 p.m. now. We will probably go to 11:04 p.m. and then we close it all down if that's okay with everybody. Kev, you said to me before we started, this day is fucking mental. And I went, is it? Because I haven't been paying any attention. So I've literally come onto this show so you can tell me what's going on. But loads of people trying to do loads of things, apparently.
Loads of panicking. Loads of players and loads of pieces moving around chessboards at the minute. A lot of clubs trying to fill holes that they've left to the last minute to get filled. I think some, like Villa, were pushed into a corner with having to sign a centre back. They've got looks like that one could be filled with Dasasi coming from Chelsea on loan. No obligation, no nothing. It's just a straight loan, apart from a 5 million loan fee and covering his wages. But it could come out with Villa having had a really, really good day if it all works out for them. They've signed Rashford, as we know. You know, that's been doing the rounds all day long. They've also signed your man from PSG, Marco Asensio, former Real Madrid player. So they're after filling in two forward players, sold one for a really big fee in Duran, who hadn't really been starting much. And they've probably added experience and depth to a forward line that needed it. But yeah, up and down the league, across the continent, there is moves happening everywhere. And it's going to go, some of them probably won't get done. The biggest shock of the night that I saw so far, I said to you before we come on air, you were like, him? What? Willian.
Ah,
Willian.
yeah.
Willian going back to Fulham. The thing is with Willian, though, he was
Where
let go from
where did he
Olympia.
go?
He was at Olympiacos up until
Ah,
December. And
now, are we talking? He must be 40 years of age, William, at this stage.
I
36.
Is that all?
36. Yeah, that's all.
Miles and miles left him. Brilliant.
Yeah. The thing is with Willian, he doesn't have to get done by 11 o'clock tonight because he was let go. He was out of contract with Olympiacos in December. He was out. I don't know if I think he might have been out of contract, so he's not a
The free
massive.
transfer.
Yeah, it's a free. They can do that one later. The other one is the Dutch league doesn't close until tomorrow, so you could expect maybe a couple of players from the Premier League ending up going to the Dutch league on loan, but they don't have to be. They don't have to be panicked done tonight. You know,
Okay.
so
Ashley, do you know who else is on the move? Alvaro Morata.
He is.
Of course he is.
He has, I swear to God, he has the best agent in the entire world.
Just
Yeah,
literally doesn't care about football until the
He doesn't.
window's open, and then he goes, right, you've piqued me interest again.
Yep, he's off to Galatasaray. You know, I don't know how he does it. Like, he has been all over the place. And I've said it before. I swear there's something fishy going on there. But yeah, I just feel like he's always on the move.
He is. Genuinely is. The only ever time I hear about Morata is, oh, it looks like Morata's going here. He's been at Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, probably 3 times. He's been at Chelsea. Is it AC Milan he's leaving to go to Galatasaray?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
He was
think
at Milan, yeah.
he's like on. Yeah, it's a loan.
He's having a lovely time. Joe Felix, O'Sheen says Joe Felix replaces him. Of course, Joe Felix loves a move as well. Chelsea love liking him and then not liking him and then liking him again and then going, nah, you're not really for us both. And they send him off. Just Joe Felix and Chelsea just playing hard to get with each other. Over multi-million pound contracts is unbelievable. But actually, staying with you, on the Liverpool side of things, the only real thing coming out today was regarding Tyler Morton. I suppose big enough words from Arne Slot during last week with regards to McConnell and how well he done when he came in and played, and people are thinking, well, if he's that big on McConnell, you might see Morton leaving, linked with a move away in the summer. It didn't happen. He was linked with Middlesbrough today, but Middlesbrough have failed to reach the valuation of Liverpool. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think it was about 10 million that was on the table there. You know, with a whole bunch of bonus structures and add-ons and whatnot. I don't think they were close. I think Morton he's reported to have been interested in the move. He wants to play regular football. It would have been a permanent move. But yeah, it looks like at the moment, and that could change. But at the moment, the valuations are too far apart. And I mean, I think the only other thing that was kind of newsworthy was Dan's getting that new contract. I think you talked about it last night or this morning, where Dan's got the new contract, and then, he's going to go to Sunderland. So that's a big deal for him as well.
Before we get into the moves and stuff, Kev, I'll come to you first, and then Ashley can come back in. Are you, I don't think surprised is the word. Are you anyway disappointed Liverpool haven't done anything substantial in this window?
No, but not when I look at the players who've moved in this window. I don't feel we've really missed out on anything. Apart from Kvaratskhelia is one you would have made room somehow to fit in. I don't think there's been another move that's happened in this window that you go, damn, we really missed the boat on this guy. We really missed the boat on that guy. No, there just hasn't been the moves. I think when you look at the squad as it is at the minute, they're not lying when they say that the squad is pretty full. You've got 23 internationals in the squad. It's relatively fit. It's not playing the swashbuckling football that it has done over the last few years. It's a different more measured approach. I'm looking at the ones here now for us that have gone out on loan, that have gone out so far in this window. Reece Williams, Morecambe, Pataluga, Fluminense, Calvin Randy, Kilmarnock, Tom Hill, Harrogate, Stefan Bajcetic to Las Palmas. At the end of the day, and even if Tyler Morton goes, if it's a loan with an option or a loan with an obligation, it's not. If your season hinges on Tyler Morton being in the starting 11, you're fucked. So we've had an absolutely catastrophic second half of the season if that's the case. So no, I'm absolutely fine with it.
Yeah.
There is a possibility that it'll come the summer that we might have to spend heavy on replacing a lot more players than we are privy to knowing at the minute. Yeah. We don't know.
Yeah. O'Shane says, another DM to help Grav because my fear is his legs go with him playing so many games. I hope I'm wrong. I'm kind of with you on that. If Liverpool were going to do anything in this January, I was hoping they would have done a midfielder. I'd have no problem with Tyler Morton going out and whoever. If you're bringing in another really top end midfielder. But actually, look, in the summer we heard from Arne Slot saying he's working constantly with Richard Hughes with regards to players and improving the squad and whatever else. We only bring in Chiesa. We know all this. I'm going over all ground here, but he does. It looks to me like him and probably the group of them are sticking to their guns when they said we're happy with the squad. They're probably overachieving on what he probably expected from the start of the season, and he's just sticking to his guns and going, no, these lads are absolutely fine for me until the right one becomes available.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I threw in some quotes in our Telegram group about what you could call a puff piece on Richard Hughes that was printed. It was in the Times like 2 days ago. And there were a couple quotes in there about this window and kind of what the plan was. And there was one quote that stuck out, and it was basically, why would we sign people if Slot's greatest strength is basically enhancing the squad that he already has? And I get it. Like he's had this entire window, to look at the squad and assess and decide, do I need to add anything? It seems like they've looked at the squad and said, we're settled for right now. I think Slot has improved significantly some of the people in our squad. I mean, I don't think any of us saw the Gravenberch ceiling where it is currently. But I don't know. Like I said, it felt like a puff piece. It was interesting that it came out this weekend. I think there's going to have to be business done in the summer. I don't think there's any ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, I don't think that you can go another window without doing anything. This feels kind of like the last time they can get away with it.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think even if the three players that are within a contract situation at the moment, they all sign, Liverpool still need to do a bit. There's just no doubt about it. For me, anyway, people might disagree. I think Liverpool do need to do a bit. You look at, I think you definitely have to look at a defender. I think you definitely have to look at a midfielder, and possibly I think you look at a forward with three defenders. And I'm not talking more numbers. I'm talking within the
Players in
squad.
and out.
Within the squad, I think you could remove a defender, bring one in, remove a midfielder, bring one in, and remove a forward and bring one in, and you can make yourself better. And numbers, they do matter, because like I was only thinking about it today, and I was saying to myself, Liverpool have a big squad, and other clubs talk about how big a strong Liverpool squad they have, but the hardest thing I think in all this is I want players to come in and kill each other to get into the team. But managers really, they settle on their first 11 and probably 4 lads that might go in and out and alternate every now and then, but they settle on an awful lot. So you're left with 7 or 8 that are there when needed and nothing beyond that,
But the trick is keeping them happy.
Yeah, the trick is keeping them happy.
And them being comfortable in that role. And at the minute, we've got a squad who you don't hear any noise coming out of them. It's fine at the minute because we're winning. It's easier. But you still have to have that 24, 25-man squad all pulling in the same direction, whether they're playing or not. Chiesa would probably have been pissed off at the weekend. He's not in the matchday squad. He played a full 90 minutes, did really well. It was the right thing to do. See how he properly recovers after the injuries that he's laid off. But at the same time, that's the level of depth that they have at the minute. So there you have to look at who's not even making the matchday squad at the moment. So I understand the want to sign a new number 6, but it can't be to the detriment of the group that's already there. Not in this window, because the players that have moved in this window, they're just not there. That's that's my big thing about it.
Well, you see, like in fairness, somebody says up there with regards to the players that are moving this window. That's a fair point. When you see the sort of players moving, you go, well, they wouldn't suit us or whatever. But Hotline does make the point, just because a player hasn't moved, just because a player we want hasn't moved, it doesn't mean we don't need a new midfielder, except that we're capable of chasing our own targets. Yeah, we are. But you see, the thing is, like, is there any, like, my big thing is
secrets in football.
It's not the players that move for me. It's what are these bringing? Like, if Aston Villa, for argument's sake, are going out and they're going, we need a left-sided attacker, I think they're not going near Marcus Rashford in a normal market, right?
No.
If you look at pick a player that's moved. Like if Fulham are looking for somebody and they're going, right, we need somebody that can play right and left, they're not going back to Willian. They're bringing Willian in because, listen, we know him, he can do a job for us for a couple of months and then he'll fuck off again, he'll go and play in wherever, right? That's what it is. We have them players already, in my opinion. We have them players who can go, he can fill there, he can fill there. It's actually, it should be...
We're not firefighting.
Well, it should be... No, we're not really. It should be more of a compliment to what we've done. And I say that, I kind of fucking tippy-toe around that because people say, well, what do you mean? What I mean is that, I think Liverpool need a midfielder. But if you go, well, you could go to Sociedad and go there, £51 million, but we've tried that already and it hasn't worked. Kev has his hand up. What do we got to hand up for?
Deal just broken there now. Tottenham have reached a total agreement with Matthias Tell from Bayern Munich. A deal for the 19-year-old attacker on loan until the summer with an option to buy at €55 million on a 6-year contract. The medical's complete.
Hold on, a loan to buy?
A loan with an option.
It's an option to buy.
An option to buy at €55 million on a 6-year contract.
Okay.
The medical's complete and the France Youth International is going to sign it shortly.
Okay.
That's literally just...
Is this the fella that told Spurs no?
He's the one that turned him down. Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to go to Manchester United, then he wanted to go to, was it Arsenal? And then he's turned Tottenham down.
And then he's going to Tottenham.
Ange got on the phone and sold the project to him, and now he's wanting to go.
Okay,
apparently he really didn't want the option to buy in there, and that's like a.
But he shouldn't go on loan if that option to buy is in there and he doesn't want it. I don't these players can make all these decisions. It's mad. It's bananas.
But this is the kind of player that you're bringing in, like players that don't really want to be there, or players that are waiting to hear other offers. Like I don't want that player on my team.
Is this guy Tell? I've probably never seen him play. But
he played a lot for Munich last year when he broke through.
Right.
Really highly rated, really highly touted. Still young, still really raw. No, the way the European expert was talking about him on Sky Sports tonight, is yes, he can play off either wing, but he feels he'll develop more through the middle. But this year at Munich, he's got wingers ahead of him who are just better, and he's got Harry Kane in front of him. So the options to break through just aren't there.
Okay.
The thing what Spurs might be looking at is potentially a Heung-min Son replacement in the summer. I know Son is...
But your man Tell is probably looking. He's probably looking going, I'll go over there, I'll do a year, and then I'll just fucking force my way out of there for 70 or 75 to a club that I want to go to. Well, let me just catch up on a few bits here. Bohr has become a member. Fair play to Bohr. There's another one down there as well. Akko just became a member. So if you want to become a member, do so. $3.99 a month. Do it for a month. If you don't like it, fair enough. If you do, brilliant. Just to let you know, the member shows are dictated by the members. So what we talk about is for them. They decide what sort of shows we do, and it usually ends up being ridiculous. But it's decent over a cup of tea and a bit of a chat. So that's what it is. Somebody, O'Sheen said, breaking news, by the way, really busy summer window according to the ITK's new language for war chest, etc. I'm not bothered now all about winning the league. It's going to be a really busy window according to the ITKs because they fed you a load of bullshit for the last 30 to 40 days, and you've drank it in, and then they went, what happened, lads? Nothing happened. No, it's going to be the summer. You know,
they've already started with the summer signings.
Yeah, of course they have, and it's going to be a big summer and
coming in the summer.
Yeah, but it's look, the best of luck to everyone with it. That's all I can say. Both the people writing the bullshit and the people reading it. Let me see. There was another one there that somebody said.
João deal is all signed and done for a loan deal to AC Milan from Chelsea.
So João Felix, Milan on a loan. There was somebody up here that did call out something that happened with regards to Liverpool, and you told me about it before it started. Yeah. Before the show started. And I can't remember the guy's name, but
I'll tell you, he's a
Dominic
youth player.
Cornes has joined Gillingham on loan from the Liverpool under-21s there. I found it.
Yeah, striker.
Yeah. Villa, Ashley. They're doing a bit of business. They've lost Durant. They got good money for him. They've brought in Rashford, and they're paying 250 grand of his wages, if not a little bit more. It looks like they're bringing in Asensio, who was at PSG, I think. And it looks like they're bringing in Disasi on a straight loan from Chelsea. They definitely need a centre-back because they let Carlos go, didn't they? It's a bit of a weird one when I look at them players coming in.
I mean, I think they also had the Mings kind of injury concern over the weekend, so they definitely had to bring in someone in the back. I mean, I get Asensio from like a leadership perspective. I think he's the one out of all of them that I can understand the most. I think Rashford is a huge risk because, you know, not only are the wages like pretty astronomical, I also just think you don't know what you're getting in terms of, like we were talking earlier about, you know, squad harmony, and I have no idea what you're getting when you're bringing him in at this point in time. I don't know what baggage he's coming with. I don't know, you know, if he's ready for a new start. I know that Emery kind of has a history of getting kind of the best out of players that have been cast off. I think of like Aubameyang and things like that. He's done a decent job, but you know, I'm pretty sure there's, is it an obligation to buy at the end of the loan? I think it might be an obligation.
With Rashford.
Yeah.
It's either an
option or an obligation.
40 million option, I thought it was.
Option,
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, Villa aren't going to put... listen, I'm with you on the risk for Rashford, but you don't put yourself under the hammer for 40 million for a guy who literally, 3 of his last managers have questioned his desire to play football and his desire to try. You know, the sort of way. Now, it could be a new lease of life. I've seen a few people saying, no, he hasn't moved far away in Manchester. He needs to get further away than that, and he needs to start again. But, you know, I feel a bit sorry for Villa. They kind of got fucking sideswiped by that Saudi move for Duran. But
they also brought in Malin as well.
They're not in a bad
they brought in Malin, but yeah, they brought in Malin, but Malin to me is a right-sided attacker. Anytime I've seen him play, he plays off the right. Yeah. But that makes sense because Leon Bailey's form has fallen through the floor in the last 8-10 months. Yeah. But the thing for me is that I felt sorry for them, but I think they're being clever here, Villa. They aren't going, right, we got 60 million for Durant. Who's out there for 60 million? And we'll try, show them what we're made of. They went, no, do you know what we do? We do a loan, and a loan. It'll get us through to the end of the season. We've no obligations on them. If it works out well, we'll get a good deal if we want to sign any of the three. But we're keeping our powder dry. And I think they've done quite well there in that. The Sassy I'm not 100% sure on as a centre back for Villa. I don't know how that'll go. Asensio's a brilliant footballer, but I just haven't heard a hell of a lot of him since he went to PSG. And Rashford, if you go back 3 or 4 years ago, I'd have taken Rashford at Liverpool. For the talent he has, he would have been around 22, 23 at the time, and I thought, yeah, he needs a move where he can just go bang again. But I think he's got into this kind of, there's a staleness to him, and I don't know if Villa can get that out of him. And especially if he knows he's going to be there for 4 months, and then he's going to go back to United and settle back in, to the trenches against Ruben Amorim. Buendia went to Leverkusen.
Chris makes a really good point about Villa as well, with the wages and like what they're going to have to do to stay in line. Like again, when I say that they're being risky with the squad harmony. They're also being extremely risky with this.
Yeah, so he says Villa are playing
they've done
fire.
Brilliant business. No, they haven't. Villa have sold about 100 million worth of players.
Yeah,
in this window.
But he says
so.
Villa are playing with fire. Already 90% of the turnover is wages. To stay in line with PSR and European comp rules, they have to drop it to 70.
Trust me, that 100 million will. I think they've turned a pure profit of Phalange, more or less. Diego Carlos is evens, I'd say. They've done okay with that, but the profit they'll turn for Duran is huge. I mean, they paid peanuts for him.
They paid 14 million for him. They made a 51 million pound, or
plus
41 million
plus
pound, I think.
You factor in their competition prize money for being in the Champions League this season into that as well. Villa will do really well. They
will do well. The problem is that for Villa, and this is why I think they're clever with the loans. With them loans don't work and they go away, Villa will sit where they go, right, our Champions League money, the sales have got us down to the 70%, but we're still close to it.
Yeah.
And now we probably need to sign a centre half, an attacker and somebody else. And that's where, right now it looks quite good for Villa. But when all these players go away, and even if they don't go away, you still have to pay to sign them. That's where the issue comes from. Hotline says Asensio has 12 matches, 2 goals and 4 assists in 24-25. That's the one I'm really interested in seeing, because Asensio, I think, is a brilliant footballer. Linked to Liverpool a couple of years back, if anyone remembers. Yeah. But then again, that was probably one of the lads that
everyone was linked to.
Yeah, maybe it was one of the lads that was telling you it was going to happen. But then listen, wait till the summer, lads, it's going to be deadly. That's what they were telling you then. Spurs, they do that tell. Guehi, you were saying about, or Guehi, 70 million rejected from 70 million rejected from Spurs. Where did Spurs pulling 70 million out for a player, by the way? But
I don't think they had to bid for someone after, what is it, Dragisin? He had his ACL confirmed today, where he's out for the season.
They're having no luck with centre backs. Talk to me
about. They've signed Kevin Danzo on loan. They've signed Kevin Danzo on loan as centre back from Lens. He's played in the Champions League this year, and he's good centre back, to be fair. Yeah. So
Kinski was a good deal to get him in. That was the beginning of the window. It feels like it's forever ago.
Yeah. Owen Burke says United pulled out the tail deal because of a 5 million loan fee, which the loan fees are going up and up and up, in fairness.
Yeah.
You look at Spurs there, you look at Chelsea moving a few players around and trying to be clever. United have brought in that left back. I don't think they'll do anything else tonight. Liverpool won't do anything else tonight.
United look like Tyler Malacia is going to PSV.
Mm-hmm.
He's on a flight to Holland tonight to have his medical. The Dutch window closes tomorrow. Okay. So he'll have his medical tomorrow, and that's Tyler Malacia gone.
Yeah.
Probably a good move for him as well. Go back to the Dutch league and he'll be fine. It's interesting to see what happens at Manchester United, because funny enough, someone put in a group chat the other night that Anthony, who went on loan to Real Betis, had his first start for Betis over the weekend, and he was man of the match.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of like a symbolic man of the match thing. Like, based on the ratings that I saw, he was not like the outstanding player. But
I'm really interested to see what these players who leave Manchester United do?
Well,
Is it a
Malacia,
problem?
in fairness,
Is it
Malacia hasn't been
toxic in
seen.
there?
He hasn't been seen in ages,
Yeah,
Malacia.
exactly.
I've been very in and out for, and to be fair, when he turned up United, he looked really good. But then just disappeared off the face of the planet. Dylan says a United skinter. What's the story? A United fan I speak to, and Kev knows them, the person I speak to, and they say they haven't a fucking penny.
Nope.
They have not got a loose pound in their pocket at the minute because of they're so far in a rear, up against that PSR wall, and the fact that
They're
signed
another one with an ACL injury now too.
Who? Oh yeah, Lisandro Martinez is gone for the
he did
season.
his ACL too.
Yeah, he's gone. He'll be gone for this season and beyond. But they signed this guy for 30 million the other day. The thing about that is that's a 6 million over every a year for 5 years, and they can just get away with that. But listen, if they're signing that player and they're turning another player down that they possibly need because of a 5 million loan fee, that kind of tells you the story. You know what I mean? 5 million quid to a Premier League team is fucking
United's biggest problem.
Of pressure. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, no, go ahead.
I was just saying, I think they're putting a lot of pressure on like the very few forward players that they've got who don't strike me as particularly prolific. But I don't think, Højlund is going to, save you. I don't think Xerxes is going to save you. But, you've sent out Antony, you've sent out Rashford. I just don't think they've done a lot of recruitment where they actually need the recruitment.
And when you look at that, like the game they play against Palace yesterday, and Kobe Mainoo was starting up front for them,
which is wild.
But
it doesn't make any sense.
But how does Xerxes and Højlund sit on the bench and go? That fella that's played literally as a holding midfielder in the Euros is now starting up front for Manchester United, and us two sitting here, 120 million between them, and they're sitting there going, what the fuck's going on? Like, no, listen, you could turn around and go, they're both shy, but they're forwards. Do you know what I mean? You're asking a holding midfielder to go and play up front for you. You imagine us turning around and going, listen, Gini and Alden probably did play false nine for Liverpool once, but if you turned around tomorrow and said, Endo, tell you what's going to happen, right? There's no room for your midfield, but Jota's out, Darwin's missing a few chances, you're playing up front. We'd all think the club was fucking, they're psychopaths, but this is where they're at. And they've literally, the two strikers they've signed, right, in the last 2 summers are now sitting on the bench while Kobe Mainoo plays up front. Avo says Amorim hasn't got a Scooby. I think Amorim has very, very much has a Scooby as to what's going on. I think he knows exactly what he's doing in doing that. I think he's trying to show players there that, listen, you don't do it, you're out. And he's done it with Rashford, and he won't be the last. He definitely won't be the last. Kay Gordon's loan move to Portsmouth is being confirmed. He was on loan at Norwich for the first half of the season. I'm not too sure
didn't work out for
how much of a look he got in. Kay Gordon feels like he's one that's slipping away, and you'll see him in League One in a year or so permanently. He just
that injury just really took out the wind from the sails.
Yeah.
It can happen to any player at that age.
And it just hasn't happened.
Especially with forward players. But no, I was just going to say about Manchester United. Do you remember when we were missing out on Europe? Go back to, bad times for us. We were getting penalised on commercial contracts in a big way. Shirt sponsors pulled out of us and everything like that. This is what's killing Manchester United. The fact that they're not in the Champions League year in, year out. The fact that they're hemorrhaging money on bad transfers, thrown in with the corporate stuff. And the Glazers are still there at the end of the season saying, give me my money. So this is why they are screwed for money at the minute. It's years of mismanagement and poor transfer business coupled with not making the top echelons of the Champions League. It just goes to show. And this is why I like PSR. The fact that if you do move badly in the transfer window, you're penalised for it down the line. You have to get a lot more right than you do wrong these days. That's why I like these rules the way they are at the minute. I know it pisses a lot of other clubs off, but for me, I think it's the right way to go.
Yeah, but let's talk about Man City, because they look like they're trying to bring in midfielder. Is it his name's gone out of my head? 60 million
Gonzalez.
quid. Nico Gonzalez. Who does he play for, lads?
Sporting Lisbon, I think. No,
Okay.
yeah, Sporting Lisbon or Benfica.
I'm
Sporting
not
Lisbon.
too sure. It's one of them, isn't it?
It's one of the two in Portugal.
They love
Sporting
a
Lisbon,
move.
yeah.
They love a move there. That's 60 million quid. That will bring their spending
About
to
200.
200 million in
It's
this
right around.
January.
They are the top. They are by far.
And who
the top
have they
spender.
sold anybody in this time, or did you just feel Porto he's with? Sorry, we got it all wrong there.
Porto. Well,
It's with
we're in
Porto.
the right
Same
country.
country.
We're in the right country.
they
Well, they've
haven't-
lost Kyle Walker on loan. They've lost two other young fellas.
Yeah,
coming
but
out on
they
loan.
haven't sold anything, so
But,
they
yeah,
basically
haven't
are
sold
basically
anything.
turning around going, listen, we've loads of money there, and they probably do, you know.
They do.
But they're trying to get him in. Has that been confirmed, or is that just still
Not yet.
rumbling on?
It's rumbling on, but apparently the medical is done. It's just a case of the announcement.
Okay.
That will get done. But they've brought in the centre back from Lens, 33.5 million. That looks like he needs time in a big way to adjust to the league. They brought in another kid, Vitor Reyes, who none of us have seen yet, paid £29.6 million for him. Omar Mamouche, £59 million from Frankfurt, plus add-ons. He was badly needed for sure, but again, he is going to take time to settle into the league and learn the new formation and everything like that. And now they're on about this guy who's going to be playing in the six until Rodri comes back, unless it comes to the end of the season and City look at Rodri and go, look, we look at your age. We don't want what's happened to Kevin De Bruyne happening to you. We'll let you go. And off you go back to Spain.
Shay Given seems to be annoyed by PSR. Have we seen this?
Yeah, I watched a few interviews with
So
Shea
Shay
Given.
Given,
He
right?
was annoyed about Newcastle.
Yeah, so Shay Given is
And
turning around
Manchester.
going like he's so frustrated with the window. We're the richest club in the world. I love the way he's calling we, okay? Whatever you're into, Shay. We're the richest club in the world, but it's very frustrating. We've had to do deals for who's gone over there? Is your man?
Newcastle.
Lloyd
Hold
Kelly.
your horses now. Let me get to Newcastle.
It was-
They
it
brought
was
nobody
Lloyd
in.
Kelly, I think.
Lloyd Kelly's gone for 20 million. He made a grand total of something like enough starts that you could count on one hand.
Yeah.
Alex Murphy on loan to Bolton. Charlie MacArthur gone to Carlisle. Don't know who the fuck
Who's
he is.
on loan to Bolton?
To Bolton, Alex Murphy. Not
Sorry,
the other one.
not the other fella. Yeah, I was going to say Jesus.
Yeah.
Almiron went.
Almiron went, and Isaac Hayden has gone to Portsmouth.
Yeah. But Shea is very upset because he said, look, when I remember when I was at Man City, there was player after player coming in when I first got there. Yes, there was.
Yes,
That's
There
why they're
was.
getting investigated.
And that's why they're fucking under investigation, you lunatic. And the rules are, no matter how much money your owner has, you must generate the money yourself, Shay. Okay? And the reason Man City are able to do it is because they weren't generating it themselves. They were fucking giving it to themselves and pretending they were generating it somewhere else. So relax. Fucking hell. Like, honestly, does Shay Given's agent or like PR person go, don't say that. Like, just don't say
Yeah, I think he's living in a parallel universe.
I was asking, has Trippier gone to Turkey? Was he gone to Turkey? Is that a joke? Was he getting his hair done, his teeth? I don't know. I don't
think he's gone anywhere. I haven't seen anything that he's gone anywhere. No, I don't think he's gone anywhere.
Ashley, you
I
have
think
in there.
Galatasaray was looking at him, but I don't think anything happened.
Yeah.
No. The other one that happened earlier on that surprised me actually was Marcus Edwards. Marcus Edwards has been
That was a great announcement video.
Unbelievable announcement video.
They are
have
the best.
media team going.
They are the
Yes,
best.
they are.
They are the best without a doubt. But I was surprised because he was
linked with
really
big
good.
clubs about 2 years ago. Yeah. He's a
Even
really
last
good
year,
player.
but apparently this year he struggled to maintain his form and get into the Sporting lineup on a regular basis. But yeah, that's a good move. I think it's just a straight loan.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one surprised me that a Premier League club didn't try for him, to be honest. You know,
Nottingham Forest actually has here. Nottingham Forest agree loan deal for winger Joel Ndala, and I think there's a buy option clause included. I think that's what your backup comment is. Actually,
Yeah, I just threw in the
buy option clause worth 4 million plus 20% sell on to Man City as loan at PSV has been broken. So that player was at loan at PSV. Now he's going on loan to Nottingham Forest. He was on loan to PSV from City. Am I right? That makes sense.
Something along those lines. It's all very convoluted, but I guess it was a very last minute signing for them.
Okay. Let me see. Gary says, does anyone think City spending this money, they have some inside track on the charges like they are getting away with it? No, Gary, I honestly think they're being that bad this season, and I think Pep might have fallen out with a few of them, that he's decided, fuck it, we can't wait till the summer, we're going to do it now, we're going to try bed them in now, and whatever is done is done. If it comes down to it and you get a huge fine and a transfer ban, yes, it doubles up as good to do this now, but we don't know what's going to happen to them. You know, we simply don't know what's going to happen to them. They could end up with a 3-year transfer ban, 2-year transfer ban. They could huge fine. But
once this window closes, and the dust settles on the transfer business,
everyone will be all over the city charges. Yeah,
the city charges is the next story.
Yeah, because Paul asked, is the investigation results due to be announced soon? Apparently,
I reckon towards the end of the month.
Yeah, early March towards the end of O'Shane. Yeah, Ward Prowse gone back to West Ham as far as terminated their loan. City are doing what they've always done. There's a problem there. We're going to spend big money on it. Yeah. So they just keep doing it. And the thing is, like, people go, how have they got the money? They have. They've sold really well over the last 3 or 4 years. They've made loads of money off winning Premier League titles and the European Cup and whatever else. So they've loads of money there. But I still think
they're lowest in terms of net spend out of everyone in the league for like the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, they've done very little, and that's what's probably come back to haunt them, because you look at the players that are there now, they've been there a long time, and they're probably the ones that are having the biggest issues. The likes of John Stones, Kevin De Bruyne. There's loads of them there that have been there a long time, and they seem to be an issue now. It seems to be.
Yeah, I can remember these shows in the summer, and we were all saying it. Man City, that squad at Man City is thin, and it's aging. And they've got a lot of minutes in their legs, and you would have always had to question the desire to keep going year after year after year. Eventually, they'll hit a brick wall, and it looks like they've just hit the brick wall this year. Yeah. And you've got 4 or 5 key players that just all hit it together, because they look a shadow. Some of them look an absolute shadow of what we've seen over the last 4 or 5 years. Yeah. They're nowhere near that level.
There's a few bad decisions I think that they've made as well in terms of outgoings. Like the Alvarez one made no sense, and there might have been personal reasons behind that. I don't know. The Palmer one, I think they look back with great regret for that. They're backups. It's like they got really cocky and they felt like, oh no, we've got this covered, and they let a lot of players go that really were the next generation that they should have been betting in.
Didn't the deal that they were trying to do today fall apart? Similar to that, Chelsea were looking at one of their young players, and City wanted a buyback option in the deal, and when Chelsea refused, they knocked it on the head because they didn't want a rerun of the Cole Palmer situation again.
Well, in fairness, like they told Cole Palmer he could go, and he did. Yeah. So that's the way it is. Dylan says, I think they're in the clear, lads. There's no reason to be certain that there's no reason to think anything with this. But all I will say is that the Premier League are in serious bother if Man City walk away with this in the clear. Serious bother. That there's no doubt about that. But look, we've spoken so much about that. I don't want to do it anymore. We'll talk about it again when these charges are or the case becomes public, and we can have a look at it. But I'd be absolutely amazed if Man City walk out with this when guilty or not guilty of all charges. It would be an absolute abomination. Because as I said before a million times, the Premier League are literally gone in there with evidence that found them guilty before, and they just got off on a technicality because of statute of limitations and different things. So,
at minimum, they're going to be found guilty of not cooperating.
Yeah. There's so much going on there.
And that might not be the punishment that we're looking for, but I don't think there's any way they get away like completely scot-free.
And I still stand by, and I know there's a guy in the overlap. I know he does the podcast that you listen to a lot, Kev. The Price of Football, I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I know he said like they can't relegate them. No, they can't relegate them. They can expel them. for a certain amount of years, and the EFL can take them on, and there's no way the EFL would not take Man City into their umbrella because they're the biggest club in it, with the biggest stadium and the biggest pull for. Like, could you imagine all those League Two clubs going, Jesus, we're going to get, instead of 50 lads travelling down from a club, we're going to get 1,000. Nobody's turning that down. And I still stand by the fact that if they're found guilty of the majority of them charges, they shouldn't be in the Premier League next season. End of story. And I would hope that other clubs around the Premier League will push for that. Because what they've done is let's be honest, the chances are they've manipulated this league for 15 years. And that's the truth of it, if they're found guilty. Everton... no, I'm not reading that.
Don't read that one.
No. Thank God I went 7 or 8 words down that line before I read that. You absolute scumbag. Let me see. No rest for City. No rest for City or Pep in the summer. Also, with the Club World Championship charges on top of that, they could be in a heap again next year. Nico O'Reilly, City wanted buyback, but Chelsea refused, says O'Sheen.
That was it. That was the one. Cheers, O'Sheen.
There's nothing like...
There's a lot of movement, but there isn't a lot of... It's like...
have Everton done anything?
Players moving from one club to
What's
another.
that? Yeah.
Have Everton done anything?
Everton have done... let me go up here. Tyler Onyeko, Stockport recalled from loan. Charlie Whittaker, Stanley Mills, Harrison Armstrong, all on loan or left go from the club. No, nothing has come up at the minute.
Okay.
But it's like, the ones, like, let me go down
There's
to...
Carlos Alcaraz to Everton.
Yeah, I was saying
that
that,
one
Carlos
that you
Alcaraz.
said? Okay. Yeah, he's
now,
the only
hold
one I
on.
have written down.
Who is he? Because it says here, Everton have signed a Brazilian kid, signed the midfielder Alcaraz. Now, is there an Alcaraz at West Ham? That's not him now.
All right, Alcaraz, Everton. Hang on, let's have a look.
No, it's definitely not him.
All right.
It's not the
Ex-Southampton.
West Ham guy. I know that.
He's 20-year-old. He was at Southampton.
All right, this guy, Everton will announce Carlos Alcaraz arrival from Flamengo on Monday night, according to Romano. Writing in his X account.
It's
tonight.
Alvarez is at West Ham. Alvarez is the one at West Ham that just keeps getting sent off.
Yeah.
It's the only way I know.
This guy's a 22-year-old midfielder, and they're talking that it'll be a loan with an obligation to buy worth £12.4 million plus add-ons.
Okay.
A permanent deal will be triggered after a high number of starts. So he has to start a certain amount of games, and then Everton are going to be obliged to buy him.
Okay, so he was at Southampton, he went to Italy, then back to Flamengo. Okay, cool. Yeah. I'm surprised Everton haven't done a little bit more, because when I look at Broha injured, and you've got Calvert-Lewin has an injury, I don't know how long that's going to be. And all right, Beto gets 2 goals against Leicester, but Jesus, my ma would have scored 2 against Leicester at the weekend, the way they carried on.
I just look at Everton. I think they're be all and end all to stay in the league, and the fact that they've won 3 on the bounce.
Yeah,
this is what they do every year, isn't it? Yeah, this is what they do every year.
Yeah, 100%.
They pick up a few wins. In the spring.
They did have a bid rejected for a forward. It was Tom Fellows from West Brom.
Okay.
They apparently had a $15 million bid, £15 million bid for him rejected by them.
Okay.
So they did try for someone, but
yeah. Okay. No, Everton. I think with them, I think Everton could nearly win 2 more games this season and stay up.
Yeah. Without bad,
I wouldn't be getting your hopes up for them. Unfortunately, they're like a bad smell. They always
that they're gonna be there, and they're gonna be going into a new stadium, and it's all gonna be great. And we'll see how they get on, because I think there might be a sting in the tail from them owners. I'm just gonna say it now. I think there's a sting in the tail from them owners.
Yeah, I don't think it's all sweetness and light for them. That's for sure.
There's nothing else really going on, is there?
Let's have a look and see what's going on.
Ipswich signed a keeper, Alex Palmer.
Well, it's literally just filling gaps, really, isn't it?
Is
there an argument for this? Is there an argument for this window to be just fucking done away with?
I mean, some of our best signings came from this window, so I'd say,
Well, then, is there
every once in a while you find a diamond.
Is there an argument for it to be shortened?
I think.
Is there an argument for it to be shortened? I mean, some of our best signings came from this window, so I'd say, every once in a while you find a diamond. Is there an argument for it to be shortened? Is there an argument for it to be shortened?
I think No, I think it's about right. I mean, it's open for 4 weeks. Yeah, so it's like you're always going to get clubs, and it's usually going to be clubs that are from the middle of the Premier League table down, and the top half of the Championship. Say they're always going to be in a situation where they're going to try to replace players who are out injured for a season to push for Europe or to save themselves. And you're always going to have players like we have, where you might want to get a couple out on loan. You might need them around the club for the early rounds of the League Cup. You might need them around for the early rounds of the FA Cup, but you want them to go and play and get senior experience as well. So that's where this window comes in handy for a lot of the bigger clubs.
Yeah,
That
it's just
you need a certain squad to be able to compete in 4 competitions, but at the same time, you don't need 27, 28 players all year.
it's just a weird. It's just if it's just more and more becoming a weird window. Like, don't get me wrong, it's nothing to do with Liverpool not doing anything. But if you said to me, "Oh, such and such signed that player for," that's a brilliant signing, and something that really got. If you had a half dozen of them that really excited you, you go
Which there
great,
used
but
to be the case you could sign players.
whenever you
There
wanted,
was no up until the last 4 weeks of the season, I think.
yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah, I think it was up
Um,
until the last. You could wake up one morning in the middle of March and have signed
yes, yeah,
someone
it
from
was brilliant.
Australia.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah,
Well, hopefully not Australia, Kev, because you hate them.
no, but you know what I mean.
Ashley has in here, Ange Postecoglou got on the phone, spoke to Tel personally and convinced him Spurs were the place to be. Best place to be, mate. I swear, mate, we're entertaining me. And then the deal got done. I'm loving Ashley, though. She's just
Cheers,
moving
mate.
towards Postecoglou. And she's just close to saying to Kev, listen,
She's coming
get
to
out
my
of the
gang.
fucking way, Kev. I'll sort this prick out myself. We got Heskey in March. Yes, we got Heskey in... Was it March? Feels like we signed him in a February, and I think he earns a penalty in his first game. And I
I'll
think
tell
he
you one thing
scores on his
that
first away game away at Coventry, I
I'll
think.
tell you one thing that I think this should happen. I don't think any club should be allowed to sack a manager until it's a transfer window, until you're in a transfer window
Oh wow.
situation. I think if you're going
That would
into
be
a season,
interesting.
Yeah,
I
but
think if
then
you're going into the if you're going in no, I think if you're going into a season, you're not allowed to sign players. You shouldn't be able to appoint a new manager either.
why?
Why should you? Why
Because
not? What's the difference?
well, the difference is it's a transfer market for players. It's not a transfer
But
manager for staff. Like, if
why
that's the
not?
case, you can turn around and go, listen, you can't appoint a managing director.
No, I think you should be able to. You should have your squad at the start of the season, and your manager at the start of the season, and that's your manager until the January transfer window opens. If
Hmm.
you want to replace your manager, fine, you can replace your manager stroke head coach in January.
Yeah.
But I think you should live or die by decision as a club. I think you should live or die by decisions you make when the windows are open.
Well, you see,
And I
the
don't
thing
think
is,
they should have to get on
I
calls
tell you
for.
what, I would agree with. I think you can sack your manager, right? This is going
You
to be
can't
great.
replace it.
I think you can replace him, but you can't replace him with a man where you have to pay some money to another club from.
Yeah, we could tease this out. See,
Do you know what I mean?
there's definitely method in this.
Would
So
be
Like,
funny if
because
it had to be like a player manager situation where it was like if you go down to 10 men and your goalkeeper goes off, like you have to find someone within your squad to fit the goalkeeper position.
Yeah.
Like it'd be funny if you had to find someone within to be the new manager.
Yeah.
I just think that a lot of the times managers at football clubs tend to be the fall guys. A lot of the time, especially Ten Hag is the classic one. Manchester United bottled out of making a decision on him in the summer.
Yeah.
They gave him money to spend, and when nothing changed, they got rid of him and they appointed this new guy. Now, at the end of the day, what would happen if Manchester United wanted to make that decision? Fine, because you made the decision to stick with him. If they wanted to get rid of him in October, so fine, you can appoint a caretaker manager from within the club or someone who's out of work until the January transfer window opens, and then you can go out and pay a fee to bring a manager in if you want to. But there should be a consequence for clubs. I'm all for consequences for clubs who make bad decisions.
Okay.
And I think
Well,
that there should be real world punishment. You should suffer real world consequences if you
no, I'm
fuck
saying
up.
like if you get rid of your manager, you should go right. Listen, you've got rid of your manager. Fair enough. But the man you bring in must not be, unless the other club is willing to let him go for free to you, you cannot spend money on compensation or transfer fee to bring him in. It's not a transfer fee, it's a compensation fee. You are not allowed to spend a compensation fee on that man. That might be interesting. Can I ask you both, because O'Shea's reminded me, and Madge Apple, with a comment about Crocodile Dundee, has reminded me. Ryan Kent, apparently he wants to go to Iran to play because it's legal over there to keep crocodiles in your house.
What?
For him.
Excuse me. What?
Yeah, that's the truth. Yeah, it's
I'm literally.
I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name of the club that he's gone to, but apparently it was on a Reddit this morning that Matt sent to me and said, before you click this link, have a guess where Ryan Kent is going and for the reasons. And I couldn't. And then I clicked the link, and apparently he's looking to go to Iran, and one of the reasons being Persepolis, because in Iran you can legally hold crocodiles in your house. So there you go.
I think he's also going to a club with a coach that he's had before. So I don't know if it's totally out of the blue. I know that takes
I don't care if he's played for this
storyline.
coach before. I'm literally going with the crocodile stuff. It's way more exciting.
That's just like, wow.
It's great, isn't it?
If that was on anyone's bingo card at the start of January transfer window, kudos to you.
You should be reading palms or something.
I don't think he has crocodiles yet. I think that was part of the selling package. According to this article, that was one of the reasons that swayed him.
Apparently,
I was saying on
was
today's
the
show.
Fenerbahce manager.
But I was saying on today's show, like, Ryan Kent is there going, right, I've got 20 grand a week in Iran. I've got 30 grand a week in Middlesbrough. Or somewhere, maybe not Middlesbrough, wherever. And then he goes, what's the crack in Middlesbrough with crocodiles? And they're like, what? Like, crocodiles, can you keep them in your house in Middlesbrough? All good. And they're like, no. I said, grand, stick your 30 grand up your hole. I'm going to Iran. You can keep crocodiles over there. It's the crack. So that's Carlos Queiroz,
I think
the
that's
manager.
probably a first for reasons to transfer.
Yeah.
I doubt there's ever been another player that has used that as the reason they're going to a club.
Well, in fairness, I remember Ronaldinho was meant to be going to Manchester United and he went, now, before I sign, what is the story on the helicopter after every game on a Saturday so I can go to London to go party? And they were like, no. And he was like, fine, right, that's it. I'm going to PSG. And then he did. He went to PSG. So you do get some
I remember
stuff.
that.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Could you imagine if he ended up at Manchester United at the time?
Nico Gonzalez's contract that Man City signed tonight will be valid until June 2029. I've never seen the fella play. He could be great. He could be deadly. But I've never seen him play. Never seen him. I don't know.
He looks a bit of a unit. He looks a unit.
Right.
I've heard that he's not as good defensively as you would think, given his size.
Right.
That I don't know. Again, I don't watch him, but
we'll see.
I tell you, he could be anything. He could literally be anything. If you told me he was 5 foot
if he's a body that can run, it will improve their midfield.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. But listen, they're definitely focusing on. I can see a clear out with there in the summer. I can see a Bernardo Silva going. I can see a Kevin De Bruyne going. I don't think you'll see Walker back. There'll be doubts over Ruben Diaz. There'll be doubts over the goalkeeper. There's doubts even over the likes of Grealish and stuff like that. There's loads of players there. Gundogan. There's just so many players there that you go.
Pretty much the entire old guard.
I watched that Arsenal game, right? And I'll tell you one thing. Until they figure out a way of getting Haaland involved in games a lot more, they're going to struggle. No matter which way they try to square this circle.
They need to go back to what they used to do. They used to go down the sides with whoever striker they had, regardless who it was, right? They had Mahrez and Sterling or whoever, and they went down the sides. Yeah, they got say for argument's sake, in this scenario, they'd have Foden, they'd have fucking They'd have Foden, they'd have Walker, and then you'd have De Bruyne going over there and going, right, we're going to just outnumber this full-back and winger. We're going to play around them. We're going to get in behind. We're going to put it across the goal, and whoever's there is going to score. And when Haaland came to Man City, they were like, if they keep doing that and putting it across to him, he's going to get 100 goals a season. Yeah. Because the biggest problem for City wasn't the football they played. It wasn't the defending they done. The problem was Mahrez, Sterling, and to a point Gabriel Jesus missed too many chances that were put in play for them, and it caused them in big games. And they've completely gone away from that. I promise you, if you put De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Walker, Foden, 3 of them over on the right hand side, and they would do the same on the left, City would eat teams alive. Because they can keep the ball, they can keep recycling it, get in behind you, put it across goal. Haaland's going to score 100 goals, and they've gone completely away from it. And it's trying to be too clever, and then it's worked out. Instead of being clever, it's actually exposed the lack of running power in that team. And I said it to you all during the week. If Arsenal score first in that game, it's game over, right? Okay, City get an equaliser, but they were still playing where Arsenal went. You have the ball. You have 70% of the ball. Because when you lose it, you're leaving so many gaps. And even if they don't look like gaps, there'll be gaps very quickly. Because that player here off Arsenal can run at a normal speed. And this guy you have can't. And that's what's going to happen. And that's why they got absolutely upended in the end of it. And they will continue to do so if they keep doing what they're doing. It's as simple as that. They've gone away from everything they should be doing.
It's shocking to see them collapse like that, though.
Yeah, of course.
When you said that, I think it was, what was it, like 3 minutes in when they scored, and you were like, oh, that's game over. I was like, oh, no, surely, like, they're going to at least give it a go. There was nothing.
Because it gave Arsenal the time between the first goal and the equaliser onwards to still sit in against Man City. It would have been a different thing if City had scored first. I said it as well. If City had scored first there yesterday, if you were selling straitjackets around the North London area, you would have been made for life with the amount of them you would have sold at the Emirates yesterday if City scored first. Because City would have went, we're not actually bothered about the football now. We're actually going to play on the emotions of this crowd. And we're going to actually let all that emotion tumble down onto you, and then we're going to take advantage. But it is what it is. I've no sympathy for them with regards to Haaland. It's a very simple thing what you need to do with Haaland, and it's get the ball across the face of the box at any height, and he'll deal with it. But they're not. They're trying to play it into him and play off him, and they're trying to turn him into this thing that he's clearly not. He's no interest in it. He's a finisher.
The thing is,
he's
off the ball
finisher.
they're playing. Yeah, off the ball they're playing. They're playing with a handicap because they're playing with 10. They're playing with 9 when you count the keeper in. Haaland is just not capable of getting involved in the build-up.
He doesn't want to be involved. He's never been involved. Go and watch him. Go and watch him at his previous clubs. Go and watch the goals he scores. He scores goals where he runs down the side of you, or he's across you in the box. That's all he's doing.
You have to give him service, though.
Exactly. But the funny thing was, I remember when City signed him, and the big thing was, fuck me, the chances City miss in front of goal that they make for these players that have missed, he won't miss. And for the first season, what did they do? They put it in front of him, and he just kept scoring and scoring, and they've slowly gone away with it. Like people are mentioning, Paul says, do we steamroll them at the Etihad? Wonder what it'd be like at the Etihad. If Liverpool go out and be solid at the Etihad, they will eat Man City alive because of the running power Liverpool have in midfield, in your Gravenberch and your Szoboszlai and McAllister knitting it all together, and you've Salah exposing them one-on-one, and you've Diaz on the other side, or Gakpo, and if you have a Jota back, he'll kill you. What you need to do with City is you actually need to tell them you have the ball. That used to be our biggest fear, wasn't it? City had loads of the ball. Yeah. Now it's not. Have the ball, because you're not going to try hurt us. What you're going to try to do is you're going to try to be too clever and involve a guy that has no fucking interest. And when we win the ball,
Palace were brilliant at doing that to City for years.
Yeah,
they were brilliant at it. They were really solid, really compact, and they had enough ingenuity and guile and pace.
Yeah,
and they didn't care. That was their plan, and they were happy to do it.
But you look at
have to want to defend like that.
Megan says, I think Madrid will put 3 or 4 past them. I wouldn't be surprised. Because what Madrid will say is, we have the players in midfield that when we nick it, we're intelligent enough and good enough to pick the right pass. And once you pick the first right pass, everything falls into place. And look at the spaces they leave open. They leave, like against Chelsea, right? They win 3-1 against Chelsea, and they should be 3-0 down in the first 15 minutes. And all it comes from is them losing the ball on the edge of Chelsea's box, and Chelsea went boom, boom, up, one ball up the wing, forward gets hold of it, and you're looking around, there's Chelsea players flooding down the pitch, and City players are nowhere to be seen. That's why that centre-half looked like he had a nightmare, because he was playing on his own. He was literally playing on his own. It was mad.
But poor kid was benched immediately too.
But of course he would be.
What a great way to teach to have your new signing.
Yeah,
Get integrated to the team.
He was being pulled all over the place. Bang! The window slammed shut.
The window
back
is
to talking
dead.
filth. Well, you're probably right.
Well,
in fairness,
I think the only fan base that are going to be absolutely fuming at the end of this is Arsenal. They're screaming out
striker
for
Arsenal is a big
screaming
one.
out for a striker all window long, and a few strikers moved, and none of them to Arsenal.
But
I think
to me,
in the long run, it's the right decision. But
yes, I agree with you, because
in the short term, it's going to hurt.
Let's be honest. They tried. Apparently they went after Ollie Watkins and it didn't happen. But if you're not getting the big strikers out of these clubs, you might as well hold on to Eddie Nketiah. And they clearly feel like Eddie Nketiah can't do the job for them, so they're gonna go what they have. Do you know what I mean? And look, they scored 5 goals yesterday. City hand them a lot of them goals, but Arsenal still have to score them. You're not going to get that for the rest of the season. You're going to get teams sitting in against you, and you have to be creative. And Arsenal, for me, aren't that creative. They're trying to be very functional. And again, I hate to say it, they've gone completely the opposite direction to what I thought Arsenal would look like with these players. But that's their own business. David Ornstein suggested Aston Villa offered Ollie Watkins to Arsenal for 60 million. Arsenal wanted to do it for 40. Aston Villa would be absolutely fucking insane if they went and offered Ollie Watkins for 60 million to Arsenal. Because if they're selling Duran and they're offering the other fella for 60, like what's
unless
going
it was
on?
an either-or situation where,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think if Arsenal had done this deal earlier in this window, I think there might have been a deal to be done. I think the fact that they waited until the very end, until Duran had already gone, there was no chance that Villa was going to sell them both.
No. And in fairness, if Villa offered Ollie Watkins to Arsenal for 60 million, I don't know why Unai Emery's coming out and saying some players want to leave Aston Villa, some players want to stay and love playing for this club, and one of those is Ollie Watkins. I don't know why Emery is saying that, is if Emery and the club are offering him around for 60 million quid. Avo says the Craven goal gave them 3 goals. Say again?
There's one late deal gone through. There's a small one. Look, Jeffrey Schlupp from Crystal Palace is gone to Celtic.
Celtic?
For the Celtic, yeah.
Oh. Now, I know Celtic were looking at a couple of deals, but I don't know what they got over the line. Obviously, they got your man Jota back. Schlupp is an interesting.
And you got Evan Ferguson, obviously, went to West Ham.
West Ham, yeah. So that's the end of it.
Bazunu went on loan.
To Standard Liège.
Standard Liège.
But that's the window closed. We can get back to the football now until June the 30th when the window officially opens and we start all this messing again. But don't forget, the lads have told you it's going to be a big window this summer for the Reds. Stick with them.
Can't wait for Twitter later tonight. It'll be FSG out. It'll be Hughes out. It'll
be everything. And to be honest with you, if you stay with the ITK boys, someday you will cash your chips. You'll cash your chips in. Something will happen somewhere.
Don't count on it.
And but hold on to them chips. Good bet. Long-term investment. That has been it. That's been Ashley. That's been Gav. That's been Kev. That has been the last hour of your transfer window. What day is tomorrow? Tuesday.
Back to work day.
Tuesday. Well, tomorrow evening, myself and Phil Casey are going to preview Spurs in the League Cup, because Phil wants to talk to me about football, and I thought, well, let's talk about the League Cup because you hate cup football, and he went, yeah, but I have something I really want to talk about. I was like, okay, so that's what we're doing tomorrow night. We could be back at 9 tomorrow night though for a Sly member show, and then 10 o'clock for the Spurs build up, and then as the week goes on we'll have reactions and all sorts of stuff going on. We will fill you in as we go. Anything else before we go, Ashley?
No. Onwards and upwards.
Kev, anything else before we go?
No, all good.
Good stuff.
Glad it's over now. We can get back to the day job.
That's it. Talk to you in a bit. Have a good one. Like, subscribe, comment, become a member, do all that messing. Talk to you in a bit. Over now.